So let's go ahead and design some robots. Maybe we'll even place one or two of them. Ahoy, salty dogs, Cap here. Welcome to the Star Squadron server. This is episode number 12 of our escapades on the server. Okay, let's stand up. We're just hanging out here in the new and improved eyes and ears. I made some changes since last episode. Let's take a look at those changes real quick. So today, the cloaker is gone. That was a big flop. I'm not sure exactly what the situation with cloakers is. I found so much conflicting evidence on how they actually work, or I guess conflicting, the wiki's out of date, basically, is what I'm getting at. It doesn't make sense, and there's another wiki as well or something that also has different stuff, but it's not right either, so I'm not sure. Anyway, what we did, to kind of resolve our problem, let's undock. Basically, what I did was I just did jump drive, so I filled up our jump drive, and I filled the rest of it with thrusters. I put some more thrusters on top, so we can accelerate and decelerate. Well, I guess it's accelerating in reverse. It's not really. Anyway, so we can accelerate and decelerate quickly, and then I topped off the overdrive. Check this out. I just found this in the menus, and this was very helpful. If you go ship, entity structure, of course, this is all the information about your ship and possible systems and rail systems and all that stuff. From here, you can pretty much manipulate any of your stuff. Like you can go to doors and you can close all the doors if you choose to. So, for example, if you go to the very bottom, there are all these effect system collectives. The bottommost one is overdrive. So if you select that, then it will tell you overdrive. Like I have 5 different groups of overdrive on this ship just because I put them wherever they would fit. But if we look at any one of them, it will tell us that the effect that we get from it is top speed bonus, and our efficiency currently is 104%. So that means that's right, our top speed is 104%, which I think the maximum top speed efficiency is actually 100%, but so we have a little bit wasted, but I think I got that from the wiki, which apparently is out of date, so that could be wrong. But it means we go fast. Let's do it. I also had to put in a little bit more power to be able to do this. So now our jump drive is charged, but I had to add some power so we could charge the jump drive without it depleting our power reserves fully. So as you can see, we increase up to our top speed pretty quickly here. So that's awesome, and our top speed is 337 meters per second. So we are so fast. Let's jump. So I can talk about the jump drive real quick. I needed it uncharged to do that. So we're just going to fly in a random direction. Hopefully we don't hit a star again this time. Jeez. So with the radar jammer and the overdrive effect computer on, we can charge our jump drive going top speed and still remain at 100% energy capacity. Now if we slow down, and it doesn't matter, I can actually just hold W even if we're at top speed, and it'll divert energy to thrusters even though we're already going max speed. Anyway, I wanted to demonstrate. So if we try and charge the jump drive and we hold W, that racks our energy. So I can't do both. I can charge the jump drive or I can accelerate, but not both at the same time. Which is fine because we get to top speed pretty quickly, and I can still charge the jump drive, once we're at top speed. As long as there's not some kind of grapple thing, which currently there's not, that they can stop our ship, we can get away from anybody who's chasing us and jump away. We also don't have radar jammers, so the only thing that would influence that is if they have a scanner computer, which in that case we're boned because we don't have any shields at all. If we look at that entity structure kind of thing again, if we look at the shield system, our capacity is 220, and that's because you get that out of the ship core. Recharging, yeah, none. We got nothing. We got no shields. So that's a thing. Yeah, I mean, and we don't really need shields anyway. because we are so fast, and we don't have a cloaker, but we're still pretty stealthy. I mean, we have the radar jammer, so pirates won't attack us, and so that'd be cool. Stealth doesn't really help from my understanding, like visually anyway, so if they can see our ship, they can detect us anyway. So, but I wanted to show you guys just how quick this ship actually is. It seriously is like, wow, it's so fast. And we have huge sectors, so we need a fast ship. We gotta be able to get around quickly. I do have to slow down within about 2,500 meters of the station so that I don't like overpass or overtake it by such a big margin. If I try and start slowing down at 2,000 meters until we get there, I'm too late. I'll hit it or go past it. So we hit right at 2,500, and it looks like we're going to just slow down in time. It's close. Yeah, there we go. So the next thing I want to talk about, I got a couple of topics I wanted to cover before we got into a project today. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the cargo pods. I did make one more alteration to them. For those of you guys who are interested in this cargo system, I made an alteration to the system too, but we'll talk about it in a second. So I, on a whim, a long time ago when we first developed the pods, we heard from JaceMachine that the view window that I had in the back doesn't function. He said, why is this? But anyway, he said that you cannot see the cargo storage blocks through the crystal armor. And I had never tested it myself. I just kind of took his word for it. So, but I decided to test it myself, and indeed he was correct. I put everything that I own into one of the cargo pods, which I don't own that much stuff. I can only hold about 80K, and the pods, I think, hold about half that much. So I had plenty of space in the pods. So I filled up one of the cargo pods, and no, couldn't see anything. Nothing through the crystal. If you removed blocks, you could see them, but so what I did was I just altered the back so that it had my logo on both sides. I think that's going to make more sense anyway once we start docking these in places. So I had a comment of somebody telling me to remove my logo from the pods, and then I went and put it on the other side as well instead. Oops. But it's identity, man. That's my identity. You got to know that it's Lenscap's pod. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how else are you going to know that it's mine? Oh, let's talk about this real quick, too. So I finally fixed this in a way that's satisfactory. Now it works as I wanted it to. Once these three are gone, the fourth pod will move over. I had to add a couple of more ands to make it work. So I experimented with like 6 or 7 different ways to make this happen. Like, I've been racking my brain on this forever. And here's what I finally came up with, the most simple solution I could. So the way this currently works is that this activator detects if there is an entity docked on the rail above it. In this case, this cargo pod. If there is one, then it activates this button, which alters this rail so that the next cargo pod to come along will stop here, and then the system kind of loops. If there's not one, it starts this delay chain, which starts here. After 4 seconds, it activates this button, which will tell this pod to move forward. After another 2 seconds, it will continue this delay chain and activate this AND. Now, this AND is connected to this delay as well as this NOT. And this is the important part of this system. This is what I was missing before. This is why it didn't work before. I needed a way to immediately detect if something was docked here. So we hooked it up to this NOT. We already had the NOT in place. Why not use it? So if there has not been, because of the delays, something docked for 6 seconds, and it takes 5 seconds to get from here to here, so that's why 6 is crucial there. So if there's not been something docked for 6 seconds, and there still is not something docked, then this AND will activate, which feeds into this AND. Follow? Almost the same thing happens here, but the delay is a little bit longer just because this is arbitrary. So we've got this knot and this delay feed into the other and over here. So currently, there has not been anything docked for 8 seconds, and there currently is not anything docked, so this and is activated. If we undock that, it will activate this and, these two ands will activate this and, this and will activate this button, which will send the entity that's docked here that way, assuming there is one. You follow? Good. And that loops. So that loops. So if we've got one entity here and an entity here, then if we undock that one, it will send that one over. Conversely, if we have an entity here and an entity here, and we undock that one, it will send that one forward, and this one does nothing. That's what we want. We want to utilize these 3 pods before we utilize this pod. And that's just the way I have the thing set up. There are likely more efficient ways to route these, an S kind of configuration, if we were to come down the track and then across and back and across and back, like that. That would definitely be a more efficient configuration. But I don't care. I don't want efficiency. I want it to be way overcomplicated. It needs to be harder than it has to be because that's how I want it. It's fun for me to figure out these weird problems like this. So that's why I wanted to do it this crazy way. So in the past, we've spoken about having little robots roam around the station to add some life. And I think that's a really cool idea. I'm thinking we might work on implementing that. So let's go ahead and design some robots. Maybe we'll even place 1 or 2 of them. The first thing we're going to need to do is spawn in a ship core. We'll call this CapBot1. So there's our ship core, and this is going to be our robot. In build mode, let's see. So that's going to be the front of him. And I don't really know what I'm after yet. We're going to use black paint. Let's see, we need a foot. So we'll need a rail docker. We want him to be about, gosh, if we make him 3 blocks tall, and that's a pretty tall robot compared to ourselves, but it's not a very big, it doesn't give us a lot of room for details, right? Let's put his foot on. So that's kind of the basis of our robot. He needs arms. We're going to have to find a way to give him arms. Maybe we'll use orange, because I like the orange. Like this. We'll give him shoulders. And let's see, how can we do arms for him? If we do like this, or potentially we could do him like this. We could have him coming straight out like this. How's that work? Because we want him to be able to hold stuff. If we make him longer, how's that? I want him vaguely humanoid. I'm kind of thinking of like Gizmo Duck. If you've ever seen DuckTales, I'm kind of looking Gizmo Duck in shape, not really colors or anything like that, but you know, where so he's like a duck with a wheel that he rolls around on. Look him up, Google him. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have to look him up. I don't know if I can explain it. So, I mean, that could work. That could be our robot. Like, that would be really easy. We could make him hold something, like I'm thinking a cargo block, like a cargo space. You know, make him hold a cargo space, and he'll move from blocks to blocks or whatever down there. Or we can put his arms down. Let's see what he looks like if we put his arms down. So we can put like this. Oh, actually, what if we just do his arms like that? That looks better. Does that look better? I think that looks a little better, actually. Can we manipulate his arms so that they work more so they look more like arms. Because we don't really have like a right angle. Unless we use another wedge. Let's see, how does it look if we do use another wedge? Is that weird? That's kind of weird. Yeah, I liked it better with the paint. Like this. I like that a little better. I wish we had like an elbow piece that looked like this. If we could have a right angle paint or something. I don't know why we would ever have a right angle paint except for situations like this where I want to make a curve. So, I don't know how we can make that happen. Let's put the cargo space back in his hands. Yeah, I mean, that works. That doesn't look so bad. I think we have our robot, guys. And we can, let's see. We can put a slab on the back of his head, and we can put a slab on top as well, so that he kind of has a face. You know, this. I mean, it's a ship core, but we can call it a face if we want to. I think we'll make that our robot. Let's install one of them. We're going to leave him right there for now, but let's go ahead and install one of these guys. I'm going to hop into build mode, into this build block on the station. We can kind of route a rail for him to run on. So let's see. Let's put him... The first thing I want to do is make sure that he always has cargo blocks to interact with. So we'll put one solid one here that's not connected to anything, so he can interact with that pile. And we'll put a solid one here as well. We'll have to remove that one, so he can kind of move from this pile to this pile. Now, there's nothing in those piles yet, but that's okay. All right, so now we want rails. We're going to put rails down. I figure what we'll do for now is just kind of have him go from one side to the other. Not that block. We'll just have him go, you know, from one pile to the next. And then we'll have him rotate, turn around, and then go back to the other pile. So we're going to have to do a little bit of rail logic. Give me a sec, I'll get the logic worked out. So here's what we got. This added a little bit of motion. I like this. So the robot, there he goes. Walks into the one block, stays there for a couple seconds, backs up, turns around, goes over to the other side, kind of like he's transferring goods between one pile and another. I think we'll set up this almost exact same thing over here as well. That way our robot has a little bit more, our station, I guess, has a little bit more life. That's cool. That's really cool. Cool, so we got another robot built. Interesting that they both ended up with green boxes. I wonder if that's, if they're all gonna only be able to have green boxes. Which is cool. I mean, if that's how it works, I like green, so no worries. Okay, let's dock this chap. So he's going to dock there, and his process is going to be basically the same. It's going to look a lot better once there's more cargo for them to mess with. I increased the size of the piles they kind of touch. There is a pile here, but there's no cargo in it for whatever reason. So kind of like this one also has a pile here with no cargo in it. So we got some animation. That's cool. I don't think they run at the same speed. One should be faster than the other. So that's cool. That way they don't sync up and kind of, I don't know. They look a little more autonomous if they don't sync up, I feel like. So that's cool. We're going to have to put these guys in a couple of other places around the station as well. Pod control room. I threw in another robot here in the pod control room. I felt like this was a good spot to put a guy. We might put a couple of more in corners like this. This is pretty cool. It was kind of hard to get him in the corner. I had to remove bits of the ship and turn him slightly and then But if you dock him on a turret axis without a Bobby AI module, then you can sit in his core and twist him around, so you can get kind of an off-centered, kind of like what we got here. So it kind of adds some more life and shape to the station. Yeah, dude, I like my little robots, man. I think that's awesome. Let me know what you think of the robots. We're going to end the episode here, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, if you like the robots, make sure you leave a like, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Stay tuned.